Hey, everybody. Good morning and good afternoon. You are tuning in to Tisha Talks Live. Welcome back. I know last week we were not on because of my guest who had to fly out suddenly, but we are back in action with Tisha Talks Live. And if you're tuning in this new year, Happy New Year. And this is a show where I get to interview all sorts of cool entrepreneurs, cool people around the globe who are doing some fantastic things. And today I have a special treat for you. Troy Brooks is joining me from Georgia, and we're going to talk all about content creation and how to create the content you want for you, not for other people, but for you. So before we get that started though, want to just give a shout out to you. If you're tuning in live to this on LinkedIn, Facebook, or on YouTube, you can always ask us questions throughout the broadcast or even during the replay if you have questions for Troy or myself, and give you a couple of announcements that are coming up. So big special thanks to, again, if you're joining us live, this is an event that I love. Connecting Through Community is a spot where I get to involve my friends, my family, and do service projects throughout the Phoenix metro area. So be looking for information on Connecting Through Community events coming up in the new year. I believe our first one, we're going to be helping out with Midwest Food Bank. And some of you know that I host an event called Social Connect Phoenix. And last year, and I know, Troy, we've talked about this too on our last episode, I wanted to simplify things. And I don't know about you if you had a word of the year, but my word of the year for this year is simplicity. And I decided to just take it back to simple, to have a happy hour where I actually get to enjoy this event and not work the whole time, and actually build those connections that I really am longing for. So I had to figure out what was my purpose and how to bring it back. So January 30th from 4 to 6 p.m. in Chandler, back at Courthouse, my favorite spot, and have started up a whole new community that you can join at socialconnect.world, especially if you're in the Phoenix area and you're looking to connect with people and stay up to date. So before we get this started, it's Friday, so happy Friday to you. Let's get going with a little bit of a dance party, and then we will be bringing in Troy. So sit tight. I'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. I know Troy was dancing in the background there. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in Troy. Troy, welcome to Tisha Talks Live. So great to have you back. And I know I had Chantel and you on just earlier in 2023 to talk about partners and how to work with your partner. But today we're going to take a little bit of a different spin, because I know you have another business that you work with the TB Effect LLC. And we're talking today about content creation. And I love this, especially in the new year, Troy, of how we get going. Because I think a lot of people put a little too much emphasis, a little too much pressure on themselves to make sure that it's perfect for other people.
Oh, God, don't even get me started. You already said it. Simple
Yes.
things. Less is more. I believe that less is more in 2024. Ooh, that's good.
Yes. Look at that. Something you said to me before on our last call, you talked about how simplicity scales and complexity fails. And I have never forgotten that. And I've said it multiple times to people that if you're trying to add too many things, more bells and whistles, that it's inevitable. You're going to have burnout. You're just not going to enjoy it. It's not going to be fun. And you're going to just run for the hills.
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is literally like my credo. Simplicity scales, right? And complexity fails. And we think about that, in 2024, the goal is to really be intentional, to minimize the amount of things that we have on our plates, and just to be effective and efficient. So you don't need to be doing everything with everyone all the time. Really try to intentionally prioritize the things that matter. And it could just be a few things, and do those things well. This should be the year, in my opinion, of intentionality and execution. So That doesn't mean, oh, it needs to be beautifully built. It just means that you need to be intentional about it. You need to put it out there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think the hardest thing in talking about content is I remember I had a gal I was mentoring through ASU, and she told me that it takes her 7 to 8 hours to create one piece of content because she just sits there and she hems and haws on it and is like, do I post it? And I'm like, post it already,
Yes.
please.
Yeah.
And when I saw her post, I was like, this is amazing, but it shouldn't take you a whole day to create it and to put it out there. Like there's a lot of insecurity and fear coming from that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Not even just since I would say, yeah, absolutely insecurity and fear. And I think it also just stems from imposter syndrome. A lot of people don't actually believe that they're qualified to do the things that they want to do, but that they're called to be who they're called to be to do things. So I know that I try to use my platform as responsibly as possible when it comes to creating content and tell people like, hey, listen, it doesn't always have to be shot in 4K at 30 frames at the right bit rate so that when the content goes up to Instagram, the video is super crisp. Sometimes your camera screen is going to be, it's going to have stains on it. You just going to have to rub it off on your shirt, get the content because you're hot with the idea and the concept, and then put it out into the world. And 9 times out of 10, that content, the one that's not always so buttoned up and polished, is the content that is received the best because it's relatable. Right? How many people at home are sitting there with 24 ring lights, overhead cameras, you know what I'm saying? The right color schemes and color grading in their videos and doing all the things like they're Steven Spielberg. It's not happening.
That is not me. That is not me. I will say this though, that if video creation is your job, if that's something you do, then yes, I feel like there's maybe a little bit of an added step for you to make it look appealing and so forth, if that is what you're trying to provide as a service. But I think for all of us, myself included, I'm like, done is better than nothing, right? Let me just get that done. Let me get that message out and let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I'll say like, even for us as like a professional content creating team and business that works with, some of the biggest brands, we create some content on our iPhones, and sometimes we use our cameras. Like the video quality 9 times out of 10 is going to look good no matter what the lighting is. So I would say as long as you're not trying to create content in a cave, you're going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like it's and honestly, the message is so important, right? The message is so important. Like, what is the brand story? What is the information that you're trying to put into the world? And, what is the intent of people when they receive said message? So like, I know so many successful accounts that don't do super high quality content from an aesthetic standpoint, but the messaging and the intent and the content supersedes that. They're doing it from a place of, I enjoy this. And I know for us, when you think about data, you think about metrics, analytics, all the things that we have to showcase and report to the brands and report back to the brands, it can be very easy to get tricked into this thing where you're not even necessarily creating the kind of content you want. You're creating content from the place of, if I create this kind of content, it's going to do very well, and this will please the brands. And for me, that's something that I was like, I just can't do it anymore. Like, I have to truly love the content that we put out into the world, and also pray to God that it's going to align with our audience. And you know what I'm saying? Because then you lose your art.
Right. Well, and I think I've shared this with you before, that years ago, I was like anti-social media. I didn't want to be on social media. I had a very big love-hate. I hired other people to do it. I never wanted to be the face. And the content was very curated to entrepreneur articles, things like that. Yeah. And I'm like, this is not me. I didn't read that article. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, I do have to take this back and just put myself out there in this kind of way. And doing so has really been a big help, and just connecting me with the right types of people, because you even mentioned earlier, it's about relatability, right? And so I know for me, like, I had to move into that direction of posting content and getting more comfortable with creating content and finding my way. Mm-hmm. So you've probably seen this because I know you follow me on Instagram too, but I started doing these Monday motivational messages. Have you seen those? Those
Yeah.
I actually just tagged it Monday motivational push
Yeah.
because, Troy, I was so tired of seeing people who just regurgitated like a Pinterest post that said like slay the day and like at
Yeah.
Boss
Yeah.
Babes was like
Yeah.
attached to that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, first of all, you took that from Boss Babes, you used it as your own, and you just threw a picture up there that just said have a great day.
Oh,
and I
man.
was like, ugh, like I was like, this is horrible. And I'm like, I'm not going to be the girl that does that.
Yeah.
I will figure out a way to stand out. And so
Absolutely.
I actually released this whole series on my birthday. And I said, I want to give you a gift every single week. And that's just to get your Monday started on the right foot with something inspirational. And I literally threw a bunch of stickers in a box and I draw a sticker every Monday and I say it. And I kind of just comment on it. And I take it a step further. I do send that sticker out to a person that comments with a tea bag and a thank you card. And that to me is light. Like that's the light you bring.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. You do you.
I love the lessons in the Lexus one too. That was like amazing. Super witty.
Yeah, it's fun to have a Monday series and a Friday series to just kind of bookmark the week, and whatever else happens, you know.
No, that's good because Monday gets us through the week, and then Friday set the intention for the weekend. So you got to you're covering the bases.
Right, exactly. All right, Troy. So I want to ask you. We talked about like just social media and how sometimes it's really hard for people just to come into their own to figure out what is it they're supposed to share? What is the message? Can you share like what has been a pivotal moment in your journey on social media and on content creation and how you figured out this is the type of content that I want to create?
Yeah, I think it started pretty early on when I first got on social media many moons ago. I built a successful audience and platform doing fitness content. At that time, I was a fitness and wellness professional in New York City. Was doing that for over 15 years. You know, I got some successful partnerships there. Always wanted to showcase like how I was moving and doing things. But honestly, it also became quite mundane for me because it's like, there's only so many videos of squatting, swinging kettlebells, doing burpees and all the things you want to put out into the world before it starts to feel boring. And for me, I just knew I was more than just that. I was more than a fitness coach. So my intention started to go from showing you just fitness content to showing you how fitness and wellness overall plays in my life. So sometimes like, right. So the things I do in the gym give me the ability to live a healthy life outside of the gym, having fun, doing a multitude of things. I didn't want to just be boxed in to being the fitness guy, especially once I was able to monetize my platform. I was like, there's only so many smoothies out there. There's only so many fitness brands out there that you can work with once you start to get into these contracts with brands, right? So, you know, I think that moment that shifted something in my brain that I didn't want to be pigeonholed into just being a fitness guy. There was more to my life to give, so I wanted to focus more on creating lifestyle content. This way, I can use my page. And again, you talk about simplifying. I didn't want to be the guy that had 10 different Instagrams. Cook with Troy over here, hang out with Troy and his wife over here, walk with his dog. You know, I didn't want 10 different pages. I wanted to find a place where I can have all these things encompassed under one place where I could organically give you multiple parts of my life. You know, and that's when it changed.
I think that is a really smart idea, honestly, because I know for me, even I've had coaches who are like, you need a brand for this, you need one for this. I'm like, but it's all me. So why can't I just have one page and it encompasses everything?
Yeah.
And I might, I know some people might not like that, but if you're following me, I think it's good to know that this is what I like and this is what I do and this is who I hang out with and this is my heart. Like, I feel like that's what you should do, just to bring it back and not just have you in all sorts of different places and different accounts.
Yeah. And I think when you're building something authentic, people are truly interested in multiple areas of your life. Like as content creators and influencers now, brands kind of dictate how people create content. So people feel like in order for me to grow, in order for me to scale, I have to pick a specific niche that I focus on, right? So like yeah, I have a really awesome family and we do really fun things on the weekend, but nobody cares about that. All they care about is my DIY project. So as long as I do DIY, I can continue to grow, scale, and build that community. And I
Mm-hmm.
think when you create engaging enough real content, people follow you for all of that. And I think we should focus more on not just creating content, but telling a story. And with my page, you go there, it's going to be faith, it's going to be fatherhood, it's going to be family. It's going to be all the things that I stand for and all the things that encompass under those umbrellas, which is basically my life. And if you come there, you're coming there to see, I'm going to be organic and I'm going to be upfront about some of the pitfalls and things that happen in life. You're going to see
Mm-hmm.
the celebrations and the wins, but you're also going to see the pitfalls and when things go hard. And I feel like you do that and you tell an authentic and organic brand story. People follow you for you and not just the thing you do.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's piggyback on that a little bit because this is a great question about balancing authenticity. And in this era, we want transparency. People want that, but do brands necessarily want that? Does the audience necessarily want that?
Mm-hmm. It's tricky.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, one thing I always try to tell people is people focus on growing
Yeah.
and scaling their audience. And I would say really spend time conversing with your audience. So before you even think about growing your audience, do you know your existing audience?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So are you putting out polls to see what your audience is interested in? Are you answering direct messages? Are you commenting, engaging with the community that you already have so that you understand the kind of stuff that they're looking for if that's what you're interested in?
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you start to get around that, that changes things, right? And with the brands, I think it's important for the brands to be, upfront and honest with us about what they want, but at the same time, I think creators need to remember that the brands are coming to us, and they're
Mm-hmm.
coming to us for our audience, and for the kind of content that we create. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever we're working with brands, we always want to like brands will position stuff to us, but we also have the authority and the influence to say, hey, listen, that's cool, but I think we should switch a few things around because our audience will respond better to this because this is organic to who we are. And you got
Right.
to remember that when brands, if the brand respects you, then they're going to trust your direction. So we shouldn't be so much focused on what the brand wants, but actually adding value to the brand with our authentic stories and narratives.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about people who, like, let's talk about Gary Vee, for instance. He's on there, he has a massive following, he has a company page, and you often see him posting just on his personal profiles.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always get the question, is it necessary if I'm, for instance, a solopreneur to also have a company page, or is it better for me just to post on my personal profile? And I've often wondered about that. So I'd love to get your input.
So I think it's important to have a business page. Like we have a business page. The business page doesn't have the huge following, right? That say my personal page has.
Uh-huh.
I think context is really important. So I think people understanding what it is you do in your business, if you're explaining that on that page is
Mm-hmm.
like a visual treatment to what you do. So I think having that is beneficial. But I think if you are the brand, like if you're a brand, like Gary Vee is a brand. Yeah, he has the wine and the investments and everything, but people are going to go to him, to his main page, to that, and then hopefully with his influence he's able to funnel people to said businesses and so forth. So I think it's beneficial to have that, but I don't think it's necessary. Like if you're a solopreneur and you're a brand and you are your brand, you can have a link tree linked into your bio where people can get to anything they want if you truly have that buying power, if you truly have that influence, if they truly support you and believe in what you're doing. They're not going to
Mm-hmm.
have a problem going into your bio, clicking that link, and going to get whatever it is you're trying to add value in their lives. If you truly have, that community.
I honestly think Linktree is like the greatest thing since
Oh,
sliced bread.
game changer! I got this new thing, man. I got a Blink card. Have you
Uh-huh.
seen that?
I have it.
You have
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
I do.
I love it. I'm like, if I'm out, if I'm moving and shaking, here's my tag. Takes you to everything, including the link tree. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I go to these networking events and people keep asking for the card, and I'm like, a physical card. I'm like, I
We
I
don't do that
don't
no
I don't
more.
have that. I have this. Like you could scan. You
Let's
could
be
just find
honest,
everything
man.
else.
It's a
You connect
waste.
with me on all sorts of platforms. I know. I'm
Yeah.
really, really anti-business card if I can avoid it.
It's a cool way to also just be sustainable. I'm like, yeah, I don't do business cards anymore, but all my information is here. You can literally click and add it to your contact book, and then boom, you click a link and you can just get to all the things that we have, and we're not wasting paper, because I still think I have like a stack of cards from like 2021, you know what I mean? Maybe before, that I just never even really got to, you know? So I think
Yeah.
the digital card is where it's at. Everybody get a digital card. That's where it's at.
Digital card and Blink. Blink's a good app to do that. Not only that, but what did we talk about earlier? Simplicity.
This is it. It's easy. The phone is simple. It's always with you, and you don't
Mhm.
have to carry more things.
Right. Because once you get that card, what do?
Yeah.
You've got to enter it in. I have to put it into my CRM. I have to add it to my
Manual
contacts.
manual data entry in 2024. Not the way. You've just missed out on truly being effective. The goal is to make a new connection and to actually
Mhm.
follow up with said person. If I got to go through, let's be honest. People's attention span, it's like the size of a rice grain these days.
Mhm.
So if someone has to do all the extra work to get in contact with you, they're not really going to do it. So
I agree.
setting people up for success, making it as easy as possible for them to get in contact with you is the way to go. Simple.
I agree. I agree. All right. So let's switch gears a little bit, Troy, and talk about strategy. There are a lot of people that, may be watching this in the replay and they're like, what do I do? How do I create the content that's for me? And you said something in the green room earlier about you're creating content that feels right for you. You're not doing this to impress all the people. And I'll be honest, I'm not doing it for metrics and
Good,
analytics and all of
good.
that. I'm doing it because it brings me joy and I want the message to get out there.
Yeah.
So last time you and I spoke, we talked about TEDx.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, I did not get it. So it's
That's okay.
okay. Like
That's
life
okay.
goes on. It
Yeah,
goes on.
yeah,
But I'm like, I have this great message. I should share this.
absolutely.
I should not just have to wait for a
Nope.
TEDx
Nope.
stage to come to me to share the message.
Yeah,
And I want to encourage people that, okay,
yeah,
maybe you didn't get that, but this is a whole big platform that other people can tap into that knowledge and that insight that you have.
yeah, absolutely. And we don't need to just like shout out to TEDx. And I think it's something that we've talked about, like aspiration to do it. And just because it didn't happen this time doesn't mean that it won't happen. But
Yeah.
understanding that you have the value and that you have the information that's important, and you don't have to wait for that opportunity to get that information out into the world is what
Mhm.
it's all about. That's the mindset to me. So like
Right.
filling the void, like we don't have to wait for the TEDx, right?
Mhm.
So I think strategy is really, really important when it comes to creating content. I think again, um, for me at least at this stage in the game, I've gained followers, I've lost followers. I don't play the game anymore. Followers. One thing I do know is that the people that do support me are so engaged that if the following goes down, the engagement's going to go up anyway. We're
Yeah.
focused on quality over quantity. And I don't want to get to a point anymore where I'm so burnt out by playing the metrics game that I
Mhm.
lose the passion for this, that it's no longer fun, and that I'm completely burnt out creatively because I'm playing the rat race. It's exhausting to do that. So I encourage people to stop playing the numbers game and truly be intentional about the kind of content they want to put out there. So like doing simple things like sit down with a pen and pad and ask yourself, what is the message that I want to put out into the world?
Mhm.
So whether that's on a screen, or if you're talking to someone on the line at Whole Foods and they're asking you what you want to do, what is the mission? What is the intention? And then you can kind of start to map out what that's going to look like on social media.
Mhm.
But I think if it's identified with who you are as a person, your principles, your value, then you're going to enjoy the content that you put out. And if that's good, right, it'll do what it needs to do. And even if it doesn't do what it needs to do on said platform, it doesn't mean that it's not good. Just keep
Mhm.
pushing that message and that narrative, and it'll do what it needs to do eventually at some place. Like we need to get out of this box that social media tries to put us in,
Mhm.
that we have to play this game. Because if you look at it, it's like this cookie cut thing where everyone is doing the same exact thing. I mean, so much so that they're not even really putting their own individual spin on it anymore.
No.
And individuality is our superpower. Like no one's going to do what I do the way I do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that because, and I've dealt with this. I've seen other successful dad content creators that were really putting amazing content out there. And I'm like, man, I can't put this content out because it doesn't look as great as theirs. And I
Yeah.
have to remind myself that my story is not their story. And the
Mm-hmm.
calling that God has on my life looks different from theirs. So that doesn't mean that because their stuff is so great and my stuff isn't as polished, that doesn't add value. It adds value to the people who care and to the people that follow me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this content out anyway because I actually love it and I enjoy it. And I
Mm-hmm.
encourage people to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. It's that big question, Troy, of who are you doing it for again?
Yes.
And I just come to this realization. I do it for me. I do
Good.
it for me. And I share that message with other people, right? That I'm not doing it again for numbers. And on that note, I mean, Instagram, I'm just going to go on my Tisha soapbox because I cannot figure out how your numbers go up and they go down
Don't
tomorrow, and
even
they're up
don't
and
do it.
they're down, and
Don't
I'm
listen.
like, what is
Don't
this
even listen.
loyalty?
Yeah. Yeah.
Disloyalty.
Yeah, that Instagram doesn't care. And don't listen to these creators and influencers that are like, all right, DM me and I'm gonna give you 5 ways to hack the algorithm. No one knows how to hack the algorithm, right? Like there are no creators right now. And I have several influencer and content creator people in my life. And we've had the conversation that like everyone's metrics are kind of all over the place. Like one
Yeah.
day's good, one day's down. So overall, a lot of creators' metrics are down. And brands are scurrying and going crazy because they put so much money into the influencer advertising market. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're not seeing the return on investment that they wanted to see, and they just don't know what to do. And I think they'd see a better return on investment if they truly allowed the creators to be creative and to
Mm-hmm.
take their own brand direction with their products. You
Mm-hmm.
came to that creator to begin with, but then you gave that creator a content brief. You told them everything they need to say, all the data points they need to hit, and their creativity never really showed up. You just used them to pitch your brand.
Right.
You know what I'm
So many
saying? So
restrictions, right? So
yeah,
many
so
restrictions instead of do you,
and your audience knows it. They're like,
yeah.
this looks like a Tide commercial. This doesn't look like Troy Brooks doing his thing with Tide. It looks like a commercial where I'm literally like reading off a script. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about real living, breathing organisms here. People, they know when it's real and they know when it's not. And that has a direct carryover to conversion.
Mm-hmm. So last year I got an awesome project to work on, Troy, and I was asked to be a spokesperson for an electronics company, to be like a video spokesperson, which I was like, heck yeah, sign me up for that. I love it.
Yeah.
And my contact was like, here are the scripts. And I read them and I'm like, I don't do puns. And he was like, no pun intended. No pun intended. And I was like, I don't do this. Like, that's not my style. And he was gracious to say, you know what, Tisha, you do you. Like, if that's not what you would say, these were really just some bullet points of what I wanted for the script, but whatever you want to do. And I love that. And I really feel that your clients should give you that autonomy to do it the way that you would do it, because how forced does that feel when I say a stupid joke? I'm like, no pun intended. Like it's not me. It's not me. And you got to know who you're working with. And we're all like, if you gave us all a quote and said, here's the quote, get it out however you want. Some are going to do video. Some are going to just post it as a really pretty picture. Some are going to write it and then put their whole life story in there. Like it's whatever you want to do with that piece of content. And we're all very different.
Yep. That's so good. Yeah, I know for me, I love when brands do that. I love when brands say, hey, because I've been in the same position where I have to stand my ground.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not dancing. And I like to dance, but I'm not dancing I don't dance on, so I'm not dancing in the video. Like that's not the kind of content that I put out there. Like if it's just me dancing with my wife or dancing with my family,
sure.
like I'm 41. They wanted me to do like almost like TikTok dances, like the kids in the video. And I'm like, I'm not doing that, sir or ma'am. I'm sorry, it's not happening. So yeah, I get it, and I applaud you. And when people play this back, exactly what she just said, that did not align with who she was, is what we need to be doing as creators who do work with brands. If you have no desire to work with brands, then live your best life. But if you actually want to monetize your platform and live with brands, understand your value, know your mission, know the mission that you want to put out into the world, and make sure that these brands fit into your ecosystem. You're not just trying to fit into theirs, because when you just try to fit into theirs, your audience can see the lack of authenticity, and that's not going to convert. And if it doesn't convert for the brand, they won't work with you.
Mm-hmm. That was good. So I wanted to bring up one more thing, and then we'll get into your shameless plug. There was a post that was on LinkedIn the other day, and I reposted it because I'm like, finally, someone gets it. Yeah. Finally, because there are a lot of big influencers, especially on LinkedIn, that are like, here, like you were saying, 5 strategies to beat the algorithm. This was, 5 strategies to make your post go viral using this proven formula, where you have a picture of you and here you have your headline and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, so I follow that and I should go viral. Is that how that works? So this girl, she's like, there is no formula. The formula is just do it. Just get in there and do it already. Stop. So this is a good motto that I keep hearing over and over. And I mean, you and I are just chock full of, here's some phrases and things to get you into the new year, but do it. Don't overthink it.
Ooh, say that again for the folks in the back.
Do it. Don't overthink it.
There it is.
This goes to my ASU student that was overthinking it, So my daughter, I talked to you earlier about, we're going to soccer. And so this is my lesson for today. So you're getting a little sneak peek, Troy. But last week she was playing and she scored the goal to tie up the game.
Oh, nice.
And the coach just came to me after and he's like, oh my gosh. Well, first of all, her teammates call her the Lord and Savior of the soccer team. It's just like, how do you feel about that?
No pressure.
I know, right?
No pressure.
No pressure at all. But one thing that the coach said was, she just is inquisitive. She's there. She just does it. She doesn't overthink it. She doesn't hesitate. She just hits the ball, whether it goes in or not. And I was just like, that is what we need to be focusing on, because so many of us are like, no. Okay. We talk ourselves out of it and we're scared.
Yeah. Just make the kick. Make the kick.
Make the kick.
Just kick it. Just kick it.
Yep.
Wow.
Who cares? Awesome. Who cares if it hits the crossbar and hits another girl in the head? Like, I mean,
you'll have later on, you'll realize that you'll have more resentment for not taking the kick.
Right.
Usually what happens when we we don't take the chance, we don't take the opportunity, you sit with that resentment. And I don't have one word. My phrase for 2024 is why not? Right. And I know, again, when we talk about simplicity, why not? Why not you? Why not now? Right. Why can't you become a successful creator? Why can't you, start the business that becomes a 7-figure business? Why can't you impact lives, starting with the people in your household, then transitioning to the people in the grocery line, then the people on your social media and so forth? Why can't you operate organically in a world that tries to put us in these boxes, conform to go viral? We don't have to go viral. Too many people are trying to go viral. And because people are going viral, no one's creative anymore. Everyone's trying to follow the said formula of the person that went viral. That was their blessing. You can't really ride on the coattails of their blessing. You have to be organic. You have to be authentic. You have to do your thing so that God can bless your thing. Why not your thing? Why not you? Why not?
You have said so many incredible things, honestly, Troy. And I've talked to a lot of friends about content, and I said, I like the quality of the people that comment. I am not in it for this. I look at these people that go viral and I'm like, I'm looking at this and I'm exhausted for you because you have 700 comments that you need to reply to. I get overwhelmed with like 20.
Me too. And I take a few days to get back these days. You know what I mean?
I do. I will always acknowledge. I'm the heart person. Heart.
Yep.
I don't like heart, right? or celebrate. But
Mhm.
you're right. Like, I'm in the moment. And if we're talking about being present in the moment,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just be like, hey, Ellie, you do your thing. I'm going to go in here and just comment on everybody else. I'm going to do it when I have the time, but
Yeah.
I will always comment, even if it's within a couple of days,
Yeah.
but
Good strategy. Yeah.
yeah, these
That's
folks that
schedule.
are viral every single post, I'm like, God bless you. That's a lot of work.
And again, when we think about being intentional, like, there's a lot of pressure that comes with going viral, right? You went viral for this one thing. So if you went viral for, let's just say, that one thing, the people that usually go viral, they keep trying to recreate that same moment. And if you fall short on that thing, then what, right? So like going viral doesn't necessarily equate to, getting your message across all the time. What happens with people that go viral is they really get caught up in trying to recreate the thing that went viral. Like, and I don't wish that on anybody. Like, less intention on going viral and more intention on being impactful. Less intention on being an influencer. From someone who's been an influencer, my goal in 2024 is to be far more impactful than I am influential. And I think, if people really truly want to use their platforms for the greater good, try to be more impactful than influential. And being influential doesn't serve as much as impact does. Impact serves far more than being influential. And you don't have to be on social media to even be impactful.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Impact over influence.
Yeah.
And I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
What you just said too. I have a client friend that one of his Instagram posts did go viral. And I looked
Mhm.
at it and he had all of these amazing comments coming through. And he's like, what do I do? I'm like, you reply. But you're right. Like, I think he's like, how do I get that back again? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. They chase the high. They chase the high viral. And it's weird because you'll see people that go viral and it's like, this post has 10,000 shares, 485 comments, and then the post right over has 20 comments, 300 likes. Like, again, there's no conversion. People, the viral is for the moment. Viral culture is, this was a moment in time, you went viral. It's not a longevity thing.
no.
Viral is not longevity.
Mm-hmm.
We're not here to play the viral game if we want to be impactful. Being impactful is the long game. That's the long game. And I encourage people to go for the long game. Be impactful. Viral is a moment in time.
I like it. Hi to Howard Fleischman, who just gave us a thumbs up on Facebook. Thanks, Howard, for tuning in. Happy retirement to you, Howard. So Howard and I, fun story, we met in Puerto Vallarta on a bus going to a zip lining tour and a tequila factory right after. So it's just kind of random to meet folks in different places and different parts of the world, right? Yeah, I love what you're saying. And I think that you even said this too. You do not have to have the impact on social media. Like, yes, okay, fine, you can do that, but your impact is far greater than the social media platform that you're on. I mean, I don't know if I shared this with you, Troy, but one of the things that I'm doing, so let's talk about like intention for 2024. One of the things that I really want to do is my daughter Ellie wants a sister, and I cannot give her a sister. I cannot. I will not. I will. Let's preface that with I will not.
You can get her a mini schnauzer.
Yeah, I know. She actually wants one of those mini Aussie dogs, like a little toy Aussies, which are just adorable.
Yeah.
But what I did do this year is I just got accepted into the Big Brothers Big Sisters program. So I'm going to be a big to another little girl who's 13, and I get to meet her next weekend. And I'm so excited because she doesn't have sisters and Ellie doesn't have a sister. And I'm like, now you guys are each other's sisters, and I get to be the big sister. Like,
this
it's
is amazing.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying about real world impact?
Uh-huh.
And I'm not, and again, I'm not talking down on anyone who is impactful through social media, because we need that. But I think we also need, impact can live in multiple places. It can happen at the gas station. You can bless somebody at the gas station. It can happen when I went to the Starbucks counter the other day, and instead of paying for the person's stuff behind me, I decided to just bless the person at the register and gave them a few dollars. And they were like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, God bless you. I hope you use this for whatever you use it for, but have an amazing 2024."
Oh.
We can be impactful in people's lives every and anywhere, online at a store. You know what I mean? It can happen anywhere, but I encourage people to not just get caught up in social media social media followings, heavy as the crown, the grass always looks greener. And as somebody who's on that side, it's not everything is cracked up to be all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get back to being real, and we got to get back to focusing on impact over going viral and all of that stuff. And I'm a truly an advocate for this. So I really thank you for allowing me to come on this platform and talk about that, because no one is. A lot of folks aren't. They're just showing you the good stuff and the highlight reel and all that that's associated with that. But that's not what life is all the time.
Mm-hmm.
When we
One of the things too, Troy, is, I know with people who are like, I have a lot of followers, and I've heard this from multiple people, especially on a platform like LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I have a lot of followers. I put out great content. I do go viral. And I'm like, how is your business doing? And they're like,
Ding, 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 ding.
You hear a lot of that. You're like, I didn't get any leads. I don't convert. I don't have conversations offline. It's just my content. And I'm like, you know what? I can honestly say that LinkedIn has been a great platform for me in establishing great relationships, but also in helping people and serving them through what I do.
Yeah. See,
so
that's what it's about. I think if we want to talk about monetizing platforms, depending on what your business scale is, LinkedIn is the way to go for me. I think like when you just from a business standpoint of like, if you are a small business, you have a product, if you're really intentional, LinkedIn is a place to go. I think Instagram is very like, it's entertainment, people go there to be entertained. And we talk about the word followers. I know for me, like, I don't want followers. I want supporters. Like this is how I come on here to build community, and I want people who actually genuinely want to support because they feel like they are a part of our community. We want to be intentional in building community. We want to be impactful and enriching lives in the form of community. I don't want followers. Because like you said, we have a book coming out. We want people who aren't just looking to see what we got going on, but people that see the value and want to support. So I'm with you.
Good stuff. All right, Troy, take us home. How do people find you? Tell us what's on the horizon in the shameless plug.
This is it. Well, definitely connect with us. If you see the last episode, me and my wife, we work together. TB Effect is the genesis for our baby, which is Spartners. Our book just went out for pre-orders, right? Which is Spartners, discovering the value in your spouse as a business partner and enriching your marriage. So you can get the book at spartnersbook.com. Get with us on Instagram, Troy_Brooks. From there, you can find everything. So we are Spartners, Chantel's page. Just connect with us there. I'm big on Instagram. Chantel's really big on LinkedIn, but connect with us, engage with us, join our community, ask us questions. Like, we're here.
And if you haven't watched the episode I had with them, that was, I want to say, right around Thanksgiving, wasn't it? Like it was, I think in November. It was incredible. It was so good of how you can work successfully with your partner.
Oh, this in a business. It's going to be a game changer. We have testimonies from other husband and wives that work together. We have like an assessment for you guys to take to see if you would be great partners together. We have so much information and resources in this book that is going to change the life. So if you're engaged, if you're seriously dating, if you're married, this is going to enrich your life beyond business, just really giving you a solid foundation in your relationship as well. So definitely recommend it, not just because we wrote it, but it's awesome. It's awesome.
I have no doubt, Troy. All right. Well, thank you so much, my friend, for joining me this new year and talking all about content. You had so many great points that I just want to bring to the surface. Especially, it's not about influence, it's about impact, and it's not about going viral because you can't really duplicate that over and over. It's that adrenaline high, the rush that we want to try and recreate, and it's not happening. It's not. So I appreciate you so much, and I thank you for this time we had together. And I wish you and Chantel and your family a beautiful, blessed 2024. And I know I'll be in touch.
Absolutely. Same to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, Troy.
Take care.